Welcome, friends. I'm Gina Nicole, and this is the Goddess Channel. Today's kind of wild because this is the third message that I've recorded back to back for you guys. And each time something very different is coming through to you. So I just really want to acknowledge your creative force and your creative power because I'm here just getting message after message for you. This, I think I'm going to title, Why Do Men Behave Badly? Because this is something that's really rising up in the collective right now is, masculine energy purging out its toxic traits, essentially. And the best way to grasp all of this that's happening that feels real messy, real chaotic in society is we just take a step back. We don't get interested in chaos and mess and all of that stuff. We get interested in our inner peace and in solutions that we have under our control, right? So first of all, we just take back our power from the mess, right? And I know a lot of us have been doing that. We just channel our energy toward what we're creating. Now, when you look at the scale of consciousness, that tells you how people are operating on different frequencies. So one of the lowest frequencies is shame. If people are operating from shame, they are in a deep self-loathing spiral, and their actions, what they attract in life, what they create, etc., are going to exemplify that. That sort of frequency is part of the survival mode frequencies on the scale of consciousness. And literally just Google map of the scale of consciousness or chart of the scale of consciousness or whatever. It was first brought forward, I think, by David R. Hawkins. But you can literally just Google it, look at the Google image for it, and you can really see where different frequencies line up in human consciousness specifically. And so you can see that the lowest vibrations, it's when we're in survival mode. And for those of us who have been in survival mode, and if you're an empath like me, you've probably been in survival mode for a lot of your life. You can see those frequencies: shame, guilt, feeling bad, getting angry, blaming, all of those types of things. Those are all survival mode frequencies, right? Then you get up to neutrality. Then you can that's a bridge to the higher frequencies, and you can start to actually create. So you could call survival mode, as my boy Wallace Wattles, who wrote The Science of Getting Rich, would say, you could call it the competitive mind versus the creative mind. Because when we are in survival mode, when we're ego-driven, that type of thing, we're in a competitive mindset where everything feels like a battle. Everything feels uphill. Everything feels like people are out to get us and that type of thing. Then when we cruise higher up in frequencies, we're able to actually be in the creative mind. Notice, please, that when you're in survival mode, what you need is healing. Right? We need to get out of whatever. If you're in an acutely dangerous situation, mental, emotional, physical abuse, being degraded, if you're in any type of scary or harmful or violent or not okay situation for you, that's the first step, is get out of there. Whatever you have to do, any safe space that you can get to, do that. Because we first need to heal. We first need to heal our wounds. We first need to pour into ourselves. You've heard me say this again and again. Then, once we've turned our love, our attention, our grace inward, which must be done when we've gone through survival mode, when we've gone through the dark night of the soul, when we've been harmed, when we've done harm to ourselves, whatever it is, once we've turned that light inwards, then we eventually regain the bandwidth to be able to use the creative mind and share that light in the world fully. And it doesn't feel like a struggle anymore. It flows much more brilliantly. And so the reason I'm saying this is because on the scale of consciousness, if we specifically look at the way some masculine patterns are playing out in the world, masculine energy, we can see a lot of what is coming up, a lot of what is being purged out in society is masculine energies in survival mode. Third and fourth dimensional versions of masculine energy are really being played out right now. And that's for a reason. But my wish for you, and as I started this video out as why do men behave badly, it's because a lot of the men on the planet are operating in survival mode, right? And when women are in survival mode, we tend to hold it within more, right? We tend to turn it on ourselves more. When men are in survival mode, oftentimes it kind of explodes outwards. And so that's, that goes along with some of our hormonal differences, but, differences of how we're experiencing spirit and form as well. And again, the beauty of this is we must purge this out because we're going away from this binary black and white male and female system where everything feels disjointed and separate. We're learning how to actually coexist within ourselves, all of the masculine and feminine properties within each person, and we're learning how to do that outwardly as well. But right now, there's a lot of very immature, if for lack of a better word, feeling souls that are just really visible right now on the planet that are experiencing the lower vibrations of this. And so you want, as mostly there's a lot of feminines on this call or on this listening to this message, and there's a lot of more elevated or more fluid masculine energies here. So really I'm speaking to you, those of you that feel more sensitive, more empathic, more in tune with spirit, and not just blindly playing out all of this negative stuff in society. And so I'm speaking to you right now is don't get caught up in any of that because a lot of people are just not capable to respect, to love, or care for you right now. They're not there in their journey. They're actually here causing more destruction, more chaos, more things like that. But again, it's not that wasn't supposed to play out that way. It's that they're illuminating the shadow by actually bringing it public now. Whereas before, people used to do all of their bad business in private or where they thought that they wouldn't be visible. But now they're bringing it public so we can all illuminate it with our light and transmute it. That's what's happening on a bigger scale. But you are not called to be in relationship with people who are operating on this survival mode level. It's not your job to fix, heal, support, change, whatever. So just know the reason that people are behaving badly is one, because it needs to come to light in our society. It can't just be underground anymore. People can no longer live in the shadows in 2025. This is all being, brought up to the surface. And you are not meant to fix these people, to help them, to get into relationship with them. That's not your tribe in this lifetime. Now, many of us have had many relationships with people who were on those lower vibrational frequencies. And we did that, and it was very harmful to ourselves. And a lot of us have, at this point gotten out of those relationships. But if you're still in them, just know, number one, like I said, if you are unsafe, please find safety. That is priority number one always. Number two, if you are safe, now it's time to start choosing the correct connections for you that you can actually connect with, that aren't just playing out their own ego journeys and using you as a sounding board or, a punching bag or whatever. And I mean that metaphorically. So yeah, that's the message coming through here is people are on different frequencies. People are on very different stages of having a spiritual journey. And so you need to just notice when you come across people, how they're behaving, how they're speaking, how they're, interacting with the world and the people around them. And you don't need to get involved with that, because you can just look and say, okay, this person is in anger. Okay, this person is in blame or shame or whatever. Like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. May you be blessed. You need to go to neutrality and above, and be with people who can be in the creative mind and who can be at peace with you and not cause hell in your life, right? Because hell is a frequency, right? And we're not trying to live on that frequency right now. So, men are behaving badly because the lowest frequency behavior is being called to the surface so that we can see it, we can view it, and we can say no thank you. And this is just part of the evolution process with beings that are having a spiritual journey. So I hope that message helps you. I hope it clarifies some things and helps you to move forward, being able to be discerning of how people act and just be aware. You look at that scale of consciousness, you can see really quickly what's happening. And then you can make a decision for yourself when you see people behaving from peace and from curiosity and from kindness and from interest and things that just feel easy and light. You can put your focus more in those directions, because the more and more you start to notice this, it's going to just become glaringly obvious. But again, if you need to shine your light on yourself right now, focus there. If you're ready to, be more productive, more creative, more putting yourself out into the world, you know how to do it now. So I thank you for your light. I thank you for you. You're wonderful. Thank you for being here. And I love you.